Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever or wherever you're watching. Let's get into 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise season 2, episodes 1 and 2. But what I'm going to do is, because some people haven't seen episode 2 yet, I'm going to spend the first half of this speaking about episode 1, and then I'll put in timestamps afterward for the rewatch, but I will let you know when I'm going to start talking about episode 2 for those that haven't seen it yet, so you can come back and watch the second half of the video. To answer, let me X out of that real quick so I can see the comments better. Hello, Tony Man. To answer your question, Laser Cloud did not make that particular beat. That's a preset beat. Well, actually, it's like stock music from Power Director. I just chose it because I just thought it was kind of upbeat, but not jarring, just kind of soothing. So let me get myself set up. Just share my screen because I have a couple images, not too many, because I just wanted to make this more conversational. Hey, Fominky Latte. I'm so glad you're here. Not to say that I'm not glad Tony Man is here too. I'm just saying it's cool that you're both here. All right, so let me share my screen. One day I'll get faster with this, but I guess I have to do it over and over again until I get faster with it. I have some notes for, yeah, I think I like that better. Let's start off with Yohan and Danielle. It's Danielle with one L, by the way. I originally had spelled it with 2 L's, but I guess it's 1 L. Tony Man says, you're reviewing The Boys tonight as well? Yes, on Hood Podcast, we'll be talking about The Boys for the first half of the Hood Podcast. And then for the second half, we'll be talking about, our regular Hood news of the weird, all around world news of the weird. Danielle is from New York, and as you can see from this picture, she's only 4'11", and Yohan is from Dominican Republic, I think. Yeah, and he's 6'7". So you have someone 4'11" with someone 6'7", and that already is going to be a challenge. But anyways, there also is an age difference. Danielle is 42 years old and Yohan is 32. That's still not that bad because 32 is pretty grown, so that's not that bad. And they're both still 42 is the on the older side of millennial and 32 is like towards the middle of millennial. So they're part of the same generation. So that shouldn't be an issue with them. But what I noticed is that Danielle, I thought that she was a practitioner of Yoruba religion, but she said that it's Igbo or Ibu, which I'm not familiar with, but it seems very similar to Yoruba religion. She was using, I'm looking at my notes because this is from 2 weeks ago. The first episode was 2 weeks ago, and then the new episode was just on Friday. So that's why I keep looking down, referring to my notes. She said that she was using Libra magnetism oil. And I also happened to peep that the singing bowl that she was using is like a $200 singing bowl. So apparently she's got some extra income to spend. But what doesn't make sense is her religious leader told her that she couldn't wear dark colors anymore, can't wear black anymore. So she got rid of her winter coats and she's like, oh, I'm cold all the time because I don't have a winter coat. And it's like, ma'am, if you can buy a $200 singing bowl, I'm sure you can find a pastel winter coat. I have a white double, what do you call it? Like a double fat goose coat. It's completely stark white. You can get that. I don't know what's wrong with her. I had a baby blue one too once like maybe 20 years ago. And I had baby blue Timberland boots to go with my baby blue winter coat. Those were the days. Now about Yohan, he is, oh, I forgot to mention that Danielle is a history teacher. She's been teaching for like 20 years. So, and from what I hear, history teachers in New York get paid very, very well. Yohan is a personal trainer and a dance instructor, and the camera literally, why, you know, the I've said it before and I'll say it again. TLC ain't shit and ain't never gonna be shit. They were zooming in on his pelvic thrust as he was instructing the dance. Like they completely sexualized him. I mean, I'm not complaining. So Danielle tells her friends about Yohan and her plan to marry him. And their reaction is really funny because oh, let me read some comments. Filmmaking Latte says, I think it's Ifa. You are correct. I think I misspoke. I think I said Ibu or Iba instead of Ifa. You are correct. Thank you for correcting me, Filmmaking Latte. Tony Man says triple fat goose. Yes. Those are the coats that you need when you're in the Northeast, or I would say in Chicago probably would be helpful during the winter time. What was I going to say about her friends? One of her friends called her out, but by saying that she has the fakest smile. And I was like, damn, she did that on camera. Now that's something my sister would have done. She would have called me out on camera, but my friends would have waited till after filming and asked me, why was your smile so fake? They wouldn't have called me out on camera. So anyway, she basically, her friends basically tell us that she can't be trusted with a puppy, much less, trying to get married and have a baby. So I guess it's giving that she's the space cadet of the group. And, as long as she's not hurting anybody, I don't have a problem with that. But I just thought that was very interesting that they really didn't want her to get a puppy. So she also is talking about, how much she wants to have another child because she does have a child, but she's already raised her child. Her child's an adult, which means she must have had, no, she's in her 40s, not her 30s. I was mixing her up. Yeah. So she's done raising one child and she's ready to have another one. She also tells him that he has a baby arm in his pants. So basically she's digmatized. You can see it in her face. Look at her face. Tony Man says maybe she's extremely self-centered. That could be it too. I don't think, like, when someone is very narcissistic or self-centered, I don't think they make a good parent because they will always put their needs ahead of the needs of their child. So that's not a good thing. It could be that she's the type of person that also changes her interests a lot. Like she gives me that, like this whole Ifa thing. I can almost bet money that it was something else several years ago. She probably, here's the trajectory. She probably started with cleansing teas, and then she started doing yoga and meditation, and then she probably studied Buddhism for a while, and then she floated around, or maybe she put the little red string around her wrist and started studied the specific form of Judaism that Madonna was studying. She gives me that type of person that kind of floats from subject to subject, but never really stays in one place for a long time. And I think that's also her friend's concern, that yeah, you right now you're so into this guy and you want to have his child, but maybe 3 or 4 months from now you won't even like him anymore. Tony says people that brag about baby arm don't really have one. Some of us don't have to advertise. Well, thank you for sharing that with the world. You're technically advertising by saying we don't have to advertise, but I get your point. That's why I don't understand why she wants to marry him. Yeah, I don't get it either. Like, I get where she would be interested in him as like a vacation fling or even a boyfriend, but I don't see the seriousness in the relationship. It's just maybe some people feel like that's the next natural progression because some of us have been socialized to always head towards marriage, but maybe that's not always the ideal situation. Like some people are in your life for a moment and they're fine being in your life for a moment. You don't have to marry every person that you interact with. But it could also be because she wants to have a child, and if she has a more traditional value system, she wants to be married before she has a child. Which I still don't. I mean, I understand it because I was raised with those same type of values, but it's not so serious that you got to marry the dance instructor at he's basically a glorified cabana boy. Like I'm just, I feel so bad saying I shouldn't say that. I take that back. That's mean. Sometimes I shouldn't say the thoughts that I have in my head because they're not the best thoughts to have in your head. But I don't see this working out too well. And also, well, when we get to episode 2, there's some other things that come up that are also red flags. But let me move on to the next couple. Oops, no, I want to talk about Carlos and Valentine, which is very, very interesting. And they are the subject of the title of this first episode. But let me tell you their details. Carlos is 28 years old and he is from Colombia. And funny thing about Carlos is when they were doing his opening segment and they were showing him, swinging his hair in the water and, it was very glamour shoot, slow motion. If there was a such thing, well, there is such thing as a video guy, but you don't see video guys as much as you see video girls. He was giving video guy. The shorts looked great on him. His hair looked great. Everything looked great. But what's funny was I went on Twitter, and there's a guy on Twitter who says that he's Carlos's ex and says that Carlos took his shorts. He was literally on Twitter. Oh, I should have screenshot that. I should have screenshot that and put it up here for you guys to see. But the guy said Carlos took his shorts and he didn't see his shorts again until this opening scene on 90 Day Fiance, and he sees Carlos in the water rocking his shorts. I thought that was a very interesting thing to run across on Twitter. Oh, also the music playing over him, doing his hair toss in the water is a song where the hook is Mi Vida. I thought that was very interesting. Tony Man says, it's how insert her name here got her groove back. Stella. That's the movie you're thinking of, how Stella got her groove back. Yes, it is giving that. It's giving, talking about Danielle and Yohan is giving very much how Stella got her groove back. So what else happened? He says that he comes from a conservative town, so he's not out yet. Well, he wasn't out until this airing of this TV show, because obviously when people see this TV show, they're going to know all about him. Then we have Valentine, which there is, again, an age difference. Carlos, I just said, is 28. Valentine is 46, and he's from Brooklyn, but he's living in LA. And they show him in the studio singing. when you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. I like his energy. He's very energetic. He's very confident. I'll keep it at that. Um, oh, but the lines of the song, he's singing. She looks real sleek, right down to her butt cheeks. It's like an '80s funk song that didn't come out in the '80s. But you know what? I never want to put down anyone's art because people are sensitive about their art, and also I always say it's in the eye of the beholder. It may not hit me, but the next person might hear that same song and be like, "That is straight fire." So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Um, I would say that his friends aren't real. I think that they think they're real, but they're not because they lie about his music, and they also don't alert him to the fact that whatever the installer of his hair situation is, they mm, how do I you ever want to talk about something but you don't want to hurt someone's feelings? That's the way I feel right now. I feel like I'm gonna just zoom in and y'all, the hairline just, I think that I should Photoshop him bald. I think he would look better bald with just his facial hair, because this situation up here, we've all seen the videos. You've seen the videos on TikTok or sometimes on YouTube. They have the little shorts where they show the installation of the hair piece for men. And, I am for that. I think if it helps you feel more confident and it looks great, do it. I'm not going to talk crap about it because I'm a wiggy person myself. I like wearing wigs because, well, mostly because I don't want to burn my hair out. And I spent too much time in my teens and early 20s totally ruining my hair because I felt like I wanted to be blonde on Wednesday and then red haired on Thursday. And now it's no, I'm not burning my hair out again. If I want to be blonde, I got a blonde wig right over there I can put on. If I want to have red hair, I got a red hair wig over there I can put on. But so my point is, I'm not shaming anyone for wearing hair appliances. I'm shaming the beautician, the cosmetologist, the installation person, whoever did this. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I should find pictures of it from the side. It's not even faded properly. Let me get into the comments. Fo Mickey Light says Carlos out here stealing shorts. Mafalmi says you have a nice voice just listening. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Tony Mean says it's a David for this show. Come on, be my baby tonight. Wait, who was singing that? Who was singing Come On? Oh, you're talking about from Real World. At first, my mind went to Tyreek. I don't know if you've seen the 90 Day Fiance with Tyreek and Hazel, when he was singing My Roundaway Girl, or he was rapping to her, My Roundaway Girl, on the beach. It's right there. Tony Man says, that helmet hair, where's the chin strap? Foamy Tea Latte says, Valentine's Roundup annoys me. It's crooked too. It is. Like this right here. Look at this side. I'm trying to hold my cursor over it. The left side is coming in too far, and the right side. And then why did they not also give him eyebrows? Like you can do henna eyebrows. You could also do microblading. Because typically men that have hair this full also have a thicker eyebrow that goes with it. And I think that's also what throws it off. But he could hide it with glasses. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. I will say, well, I'll save that for after I talk about the next couple, because I'll come back to them. I did learn some things. I mean, I already knew about the whole top and bottom thing, because if you're new here, he looks like Paul George from NBA. If you're new here, I'll just let you know, I went to design school. My first degree is in fashion design and merchandising. So being in design school, clearly a lot of my classmates were part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And so I've heard things. I've heard lots of stories. I've heard when things go down and it's enjoyable. And I've also heard the horror stories about how sometimes things don't go as well as planned. So that was not a surprise to me, the whole top and bottom thing. But what was interesting is Valentine wanting to be polyamorous. That's going to be a problem with them because, I mean, if you have one person that is open to having multiple relationships concurrently and you have another person that's more, what's the word, monogamous, that's going to be a mismatching of values. But I will say about the top thing, for those that haven't watched the show but are watching me, the issue with them that they have stated is that they're both tops. And so neither one of them, and I actually learned some new words. Apparently in Spanish, the word activo means top in Spanish. I didn't know that. So los dos son activos. And so that's going to be a problem physically. And that's something anyone can relate to because sexual compatibility will mess with. I won't say it ruins, but it will mess with a good relationship. It's important for people to be able to have pleasure together in some way. Okay, here. I thought it was his hair once I realized it wasn't a ad. Hey, Chris, how are you? Chris says the 90-day spinoffs are over 9,000. Yes, there's too many. The one that I haven't really caught up on is definitely the single life, because there's some people I wish they would have the single life just maybe do it. They should do it more as a YouTube series, because that way you can just watch the people that you're interested in seeing on a single life. Like I would be interested in seeing $800 wig Brittany. That's what I will always call her, because that $800. She said her wig was $800, so she's $800 wig Brittany. I would be interested in seeing her on a single life, but I've had enough of Danielle. Danielle needs therapy, not so much dating. And by the way, for those of you that are in the chat, Chris is also on Hood Podcast with me. So come through later tonight and you'll be able to see her and hear her. She does News of the Weird, really, really awesome stories. And she's a sweetheart and she's beautiful. So come through. Did I finish with them? Do I have anything else to say before I talk about Aryanna and Sherlon? Sherlon, not Sherlon. No, I'm saving them for last. Now, Aryanna and Sherlon are returning from season 1. Chris says she agrees. Yes. And in the first season, Aryanna, this is another vacation baby. She is like Kalani 2.0. And, Emily from the current 90 Day Fiance season 9 is Kalani or Kalani. Yeah, her sister is Kalani. Her name is Kalani. Is Kalani 3.0. So the vacation baby crew. Oh, wait. Would Ari and Benyam be 3.0? So that would make Emily 4.0. Anyways, there's been a lot of people doing the same thing that Kalani did. Going on vacation, bringing back a vacation baby. That's the same situation with Aryanna and Sherlon. Aryanna, how old is she? Did I write it down? Yeah, she's 26. She's from Illinois. And Sherlon it says that he's 36 from Jamaica, but that is a hard looking 36. And I'm very sorry. Maybe he's had a difficult life, but I would have pegged him at 50 if he was a day. I would be like, that's definitely a man in between 48 and 52 years old. But it says he's 36, so we'll just go with that. It opens, well, let me give more basic for more background before I get into what happens in season 2. So she spent the whole first season visiting him in Jamaica and trying to get him to fill out paperwork, which was, I think it was just a visitor's or a vacation visa just to come and be in America for her birth of her son. If I remember correctly, he never filled out the paperwork, and she unfortunately had a premature birth. So it wouldn't have, even if he had filled out the paperwork, he still wouldn't have been able to get to America on time to see his son, which, by the way, he named Odin, which is a Norse god, because he told us 11 times in season 1 that he has Viking ancestry. So, you know, little baby Odin is here now. Cute kid. But Aryanna wants Sherlon to come to America, to Illinois, and marry her, and he's not trying to do that because he barely even knows her. She was, you know, a vacation fling that but she is trying to turn this into a relationship, and it's not going to happen. I feel bad for her. I know she's probably has that mindset that, oh, she's got to get married because she has this baby, or else she feels like she's actually vocalized that she didn't want to be a single mother. But unfortunately, that's what you sorry, I'm hitting my microphone. It's not the worst thing in the world. Some people act like it's the worst thing. It's not the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world is raw dogging a stranger on vacation. You're lucky you only came back with a baby. I'm sorry. So what they show them doing is in season 2 is Ariana's working out at, it looked like a Planet Fitness, because I think everything was like purple and yellow. That looks like that's Planet Fitness, $10 a month. I didn't go to Planet Fitness when I was going to gyms because, number one, the place smelled so funky. The Planet Fitness is close to me. Horrible smell. And then they wanted to advertise, oh, we have free pizza on Thursdays and Fridays. Well, that defeats the purpose of me going to the gym. However, the LA Fitness, which is further away from my house, was much nicer, much cleaner, didn't smell, no free pizza in your face when you're trying to lose weight. That's just an aside that has nothing to do with nothing. Meanwhile, Sherlon goes to the store to get some things for the baby, and he knows nothing about babies. He tells the store clerk that the baby is 10 months old and he wanted to buy, you know, baby bottles. And the clerk is like, still in the bottle at 10 months old. And this is where we get into that cultural difference, which a lot of us have been discussing on the regular 90 Day Fiance season 9 with Emily and breastfeeding this baby at 17 months. I've noticed that it seems that a lot of European American babies are bottle fed for a lot longer, and like literally with a bottle, than I don't know whether you prefer to be called Black American, African American, ADOS, Foundational Black American. If we could just come to a conclusion on what we're going to call ourselves, that would be nice. But my point is, a lot of our babies are off the bottle on sippy cups at 10 months, walking at 10 months, talking at a year, which, by the way, Emily's child is doing. Like that baby, the grandmother handed him a sippy cup and he said water. So I don't know why she keeps trying to pop her titty in this baby's mouth, other than just to, I guess, have an excuse not to work. But my point is that there seems to be cultural differences in how long we keep babies on bottles. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I noticed it, making an observation. Full Mickey Lodge says, yeah, Scotland is the same as Norway to him. Yeah. That's what doesn't make sense. It would make more sense if it was Scottish or Irish, because even in my family, because my grandfather's from Jamaica, there's a lot of people in Jamaica that have Irish history, because at one point they had imported 2,000 Irish indentured servants to Jamaica. So that's why a lot of Jamaicans would have Irish ancestry. I don't know about the Norway. Also creepy ass physical trainers. Or the physical trainers creepy at Planet Fitness. Because I like I said, I went there. I toured it, didn't like it, so I never went there. But I will say that the physical trainer almost killed me at Planet Fitness, not Planet Fitness, LA Fitness. But it wasn't their fault. I didn't know that I was sick at the time. I got super dizzy, and it turns out I had shingles, which is pretty. If you don't know what shingles is, it's when you get chicken pox for the second or third time in adulthood. That's what I had. He don't actually want to come here. Yeah, I agree. He's not trying to come here at all. To live in the cold with her in Illinois when he lives in paradise. He's a glass bottom boat driver, and his father owns the company. So, I mean, he has a pretty, he doesn't have, well, we don't know what his relationship is between himself and his father, but I'm just saying If you worked for a company that your dad didn't own, you'd probably get fired for boning the customers. But since his father owns the company, he's not going to get in trouble for doing stuff like that. Tony Man says, if your kid is walking and talking to me, he gets no more baba. I agree. Mafami says, I do address our people as melanated people, seeing we range in color, melanated beings of African descent. I like that. I like melanated people. I might start using that. And it's less divisive. I think it's the problem that, this is just an aside, I'm going to get right back to 90 Day Fiance. One problem that we might have as a culture is too much division. And the division has been used against us time and time again. It's always divide and conquer, divide and conquer. So when we divide ourselves, we're helping others to divide and conquer us. I don't like that. All right, back to what I was saying. Now we can get to the juicy one. Gabby, Abby, and Frankie. Gabby and Abby are a bisexual couple from Mexico, and they've been together for 10 years. Frankie went on vacation one time to Mexico with his friends, and his friends introduced him to Gabby and Abby. And he says that, they got along well. They was partying. Then they went to bed. They didn't do anything. But when he got up in the morning, he went in the shower. And the next thing he knew, the two of them was naked in the shower with him. And let me tell you their ages and where they're from. I said Mexico for Gabby and Abby. Gabby is the one with the locks on the top of her head. Abby is the one with the orange swimsuit. It says that Abby is 34 years old, but they did not give Gabby's age, or maybe I blinked and I missed it. Frankie is 45 and he's from Tennessee. Also, it said that Gabby is an engineer. I'm sorry, Abby is an engineering assistant. And I love her intro because she was trying so hard to switch her little hips up the stairs. She was like sashaying up the stairs. It was really cute. Abby says that, well, hold on. Yeah, Gabby and Abby, I said, were or have been in a relationship for 10 years, but they've started a relationship. Both of them have started a relationship with Frankie. Abby says that she loves Frankie's smile and that she's totally and completely in love with him. Frankie is divorced, and I said that he went on vacation in Mexico, but it was specifically Puerto Vallarta with his friends who introduced him to Abby and Gabby. He said he fell more in love with Abby, and so Abby and Frankie plan to run off together and leave Gabby. Now that's going to be some drama. Let me see here. These chicks look sloppy as hell on this show. Anyone can disavow what I'm saying. I don't think they look sloppy. Like, they don't look like what you're used to seeing on Instagram, because it's not like TLC is only going to Photoshop but so much. I think they're nice looking girls. I don't think they're nothing to write home about. I will say that, but they're not sloppy. I would never say that. That has long con written all over it. Yes. Gabby and Abby and Frankie are the weirdest trouble I've ever seen. Know what my first thought was, because of his portly stature? If they enjoy his breasts, because they're bisexual, I just wonder, do you think they enjoy his breasts? I'm going to hell. I'm sorry, I'm going to hell. But yeah, I wonder how Gabby is going to react to Abby saying that she's going to run off with Frankie. So what do y'all think of the show so far before I get into episode 2? Not the boob party. Let me put that on the screen. Chris says, not the boob party. Tony Man says, maybe he's got a baby arm. Well, Abby did say that she likes women because they're soft, and she likes men because they have a penis. And Frankie does have a penis, so he fits the description of what she likes about men. All right, let me See, episode 2 actually starts up with Carlos and Valentine. So let me go back to their picture. Now, at the start of this episode, Valentine is packing. Well, he's already packed. He's getting ready to take the flight to, was it Colombia or Dominican Republic? I keep getting it mixed up. I want to say that was Colombia. Yeah, Colombia. And so his friend comes through and she basically tells him like what we're all thinking, how this is not really going to work. Well, it's possible that it could work if they're frauding on us, because we found out before that other 90-day couples have made up issues that they really didn't have. So I'm going to treat this as if, what they're saying is, what it really is. But yeah, if they're not sexually compatible, that's, represents an issue, and all, as well as their what they want out of a relationship, with Valentine being polyamorous and Carlos being monogamous. That's going to represent a problem, because just by Valentine saying that he's polyamorous, Carlos might become jealous of anyone he speaks to, because he knows that Valentine would have a relationship with others, in addition to him. I don't think that Valentine would do it without telling him. He doesn't give me that type of personality. What actually, I should say that about all the people on this version of 90 Day, there's no one here to hate. Like, it seems so far in the first 2 episodes, they have their issues, but they're all likable people. They don't give me the same type of a-hole vibes that we got going on with the regular 90 Day Fiance, with Belial and Emily and Gone Girl Kara. Guillermo. If you see this, Guillermo, run. I feel like homegirl from Ghost. You in danger. That's what I feel like. Tony Minso, Colombia. And Foamy Kaladi says, I don't mean looks. A lot of women like fluffy men. They just weird to me. The whole relationship seems fake. Yeah, I think it's fake. I know women that like fluffy men. I have a cousin like that. She won't date a guy if he has to be at least 20 pounds overweight, she told me. So yeah, there's definitely ladies that like fluffy men. Or cuddly. I think the word they use is cuddly. They like the word cuddly. What else? Carlos is waiting nervously at the airport, and I do like that Valentine brought him a gift. He brought him this big, looked like maybe it was a panda bear, but he again tells us that he's not out to his family, which again, when this TV show comes on, everyone's gonna see. And when they meet at the airport, it's very lovely. I felt a warmth there. It didn't feel like it was contrived or fake when they embrace each other and kiss each other. It feels like they really do dig each other. So that was good to see. However, there is a bit of a power struggle when they get the rental car and they're driving, and Carlos is trying to give Valentine directions, and Valentine kind of doesn't want to take his direction, which I'm a little bit more on Carlos's side, only because this is where he lives. You're visiting there. So I would think you would listen to the person that lives there who's trying to tell you how to get around. So I don't know why I guess you were probably used to being a take charge type of person, but it's okay to relinquish control in a situation where the other person knows more about something than you. So that's going to be something that Valentine will have to work on if he wants to have a good relationship with Carlos. Could also be an age thing on a subconscious level, because remember, Valentine is 46 years old. Carlos is only 28. So Valentine might be on a subconscious level thinking, well, I'm not going to let this little baby tell me what to do. But the point is, the baby lives there. You don't live there. So if he's telling you the right way to drive and where to go, just chill. Or really, why was it Carlos? Well, maybe Carlos doesn't have a license, or the insurance is probably cheaper, because I know when you do rental cars, the older you are, the less you have to pay for insurance. So whenever you're in your 20s, you always got to pay extra for insurance on rental cars. So it could be something like that. Do I have anything else? I can't think of anything else major that happened with them. Just that. Oh, the alcohol thing. Valentine doesn't drink, but Carlos gave him some champagne, and Valentine just assumed that it was a non-alcoholic form of champagne. But Carlos thought that Valentine meant that he wasn't a heavy drinker. Like a lot of people will think that if a person says they don't drink, that means that they might have an occasional glass of wine with dinner or they'll have champagne, but not like a beer every day type of person. And so they had a little error in miscommunication there. I think that Valentine might have taken it harder than he needed to. It seemed he almost ruined the moment, but he did dial it back. Tony Man says, it's like driving with someone like my mom. They always know a better route. Whenever my parents are in a car, they white knuckle it and they act like I'm driving, super fast just because I'm doing the speed limit. Especially my mother, because she never does the speed limit. She's the slowest driver ever. So just doing the speed limit, oh my God, you're going too fast. Fomic Yolanda says, I think Carlos is controlling. It could be. I think he definitely seems to be a person that wants things. He's more particular. He's not as not particular. That's not the right word. He described himself as conservative. But I do get the control that what you're saying about control. I think it's a matter of because he's come from a space that he had to be closeted in. I think he doesn't feel as free as the way Valentine seemed like he's been out for at least 20 years. He's out, he's free, he is the guy that's going to take his shirt off and dance in the club, whereas Carlos is going to be more, let me chill over here by the bar because I don't want anything unexpected to happen. That's what it is. I don't think Carlos likes things that are unexpected or spontaneous. I think he likes things to be very regimented and planned. And Valentine gives me that he's a little bit more spontaneous. So they will have to meet in the middle with that. What else happened? Oh, let's talk about Danielle and her going to see Baba. Oh, too many times. Danielle goes to see this figure that she calls Baba, who is the leader of, do I have to go back up? Ifa, the Ifa tradition or religion that she's studying. Which, again, I said it was similar to me to Yoruba or even a little bit Santeria. But, and mind you, I'm not going to judge it at all because those of you that know me know that my people come from New Orleans. And there's certain things that we do there under what people call voodoo. People don't understand. And a lot of it is just holistic medicine that people don't understand. It's medicines that go back, thousands of years that people don't understand. So they think that you're doing witchcraft. Didn't Carlos say his whole town is conservative? Yes, he did. He did say his whole town was conservative. Which I hope everything goes well for him after he's seen on the show. Hopefully nothing, there's not much fallout. What was else I was going to say? She broke her. Oh, the Baba was doing a reading, a spiritual reading with nuts. And again, not going to judge. I read tarot cards. I read rune stones. Rune stones are literally stones. And he was reading nuts. I don't know how to read nuts, but he was reading them. And he said that Yohan is a womanizer, which makes sense. He literally teaches dance at a resort and he shakes his hips for a living. But what doesn't make sense to me is if he's a womanizer, why is he so broke? Because they went out to dinner and he didn't have $61. And you know what? Let me see if I can look up right quick the exchange rate. He's in Dominican Republic. Exchange rate for $1 US to Dominican peso. Okay, so it's 54 Dominican pesos to every $1 American dollar. That's a really, really high exchange rate. So I could see why. But the thing is, if she's been there before and she knew the exchange rate, why is she expecting him to have all this money? So now I've flipped. I went from wondering why doesn't he have $61 to looking it up and seeing, well, okay, now it makes sense why he doesn't have $61 at that time point. So she should really understand where he's coming from as far as what type of wages he has. Mafalmi says Baba means father in Swahili also. Oh, that makes sense because he was the religious leader, which, in the Christian church they call the father. Yeah. Thank you, Mafalmi. It's like Screwface using chicken bones to see that Steven Seagal was coming in marked for death. Yeah, there are lots of people that also read bones. I don't know how to read bones. I don't know how to read nuts. I just stick with my tarot cards and my rune stones for now. I was working with crystals, but I still have so much more to learn about them. Which, speaking of crystals, she brought a rose quartz with her, a really big rose quartz, which, by the way, I'm wearing today. I have one on my finger and I have one here. And I know that the breaking of the rose quartz was probably a bad omen. That was not cool. Mafalme also is king in Swahili. Very, very cool. Just a fun fact. No, that is really cool. Where was I? I was talking about the rose quartz. Actually, I didn't get a chance, but I wanted to look up what it means when a rose quartz cracks. Let's see. Meaning of rose quartz breaking. Okay, it says rose quartz is a crystal of love, self-love, acceptance, and compassion, friendship, genuineness, kindness, and relationships. It could be a sign that you have heart healing work to do on yourself, or that a relationship is ending, or a friend is being disloyal. Yeah, like I said, a bad omen that rose quartz cracked. But she's still with this dude because she wants to have her cervix ruptured. She in nut reading and nut seeing horrible Joe. Who else do we see? What's funny? My note for Aryanna and Sherlon, I have one word. I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see the one word I wrote. Delusion. That's the only note I wrote. I just wrote delusion because she really thinks this is going to be a relationship. Girl, that man don't want you. I mean, it's sad to say, it probably hurts your heart, but he don't want you. I'm sorry. Foaming Lighter says she mixed in smuggling with Ifa too. I don't know how that works. Oh, you mean smudging? Yes. And she wasn't even doing it right. She's walking around trying to smudge with nothing to catch the ashes in. Usually you use a shell to catch the ashes in, and it's helpful for you to use a feather, and you start in the corners of the room. She started in the middle of the room, has nothing to catch the ashes in. She just does stuff just because she thinks it's cool, but she doesn't know where it comes from. And the one thing she did do that she ended up messing up, but when she was smudging underneath her feet and she burned herself. That was funny because when pre-pandemic, when I used to go to powwow, we would be smudged all over, including the soles of our feet. But yeah, I don't have much to say about Aryanna and Sherlon because it's just a lost cause. I'm trying to think of, did we ever have another 90 Day Fiance couple that was this much of a lost cause? I can't think of one. I can't think of one that was this disconnected. Like there's no romantic feeling. There's nothing there that says that he wants to be with her in any way, shape, or form. Like, really, he should get a DNA test just to be sure. Although that baby looks a lot like him, so there's that. But yeah, she's got to hang it up. It's not going to happen. I like her nails though. That's cute. The little multicolor nails. That's very vacation-y. All right, who is left for episode 2? Gabby, Abby, and Frankie. I like that Gabby was sitting on the beach. Carissa says Ashley and that one guy. Are you talking about the Ashley that took the Jamaican boy who was barely 20 years old back to Pennsylvania? And then she was like, back to Jamaica, you go. That's all I remember her saying. She was very much a Karen, a lot of Karen energy. Is that the Ashley that you're talking about? Fomiki Latte says Sherlon kind of stringing her along though, but she refuses to see it. Tony Man says, I hate Ash Wednesday because people walk around with ashes all on their forehead. I'm like, wash it off. Well, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know if they're supposed to wash it off. Somebody Catholic have to tell me. Maybe they're not supposed to wash it off. Carissa said yes. Yeah, that Ashley, you know who's giving me her? The second Ashley is Kara with Guillermo. That's like Ashley 2.0. And poor Guillermo, he doesn't know what he's in for. I feel so bad for him. But I was saying, Gabby was on the beach painting, and she reminds me of this girl that I went to grad school with that used to do stuff like that. She would sit in the park and write poetry and write rap music. She was really, really laid back and cool. She was from California. I wish I could do stuff like that, but my ADHD will not allow me. I cannot get work done in any public space. Like I could never sit in a coffee shop and work on my computer because I'm going to be distracted by every little thing. I'm going to hear the espresso machine going off, people coming through the door, somebody texting, it's too much stimulation. I couldn't get any work done that way. And I certainly couldn't sit in a park and do work. So I envy people that are able to like focus and cut the world out. That's kind of a cool thing. But anyways, Abby is still not telling Gabby what her plans are, and she's got to string her along. And Gabby is talking about how much she loves Frankie and how he's so cuddly. And the look on Abby's face is like, yeah, I bet you, but you don't know what I'm planning. When you know what I'm planning, I just hope it doesn't turn violent, because I could see somebody getting dragged. What else happened? Frankie went ring shopping with his buddy Rodney. Mafami says, I used to have panic attacks bad sometimes, so I dodge crowds. Yeah, I feel you. I've had panic attacks before that I didn't know were panic attacks. I actually went to the hospital a couple times because I thought I was having a heart attack. I was having chest pains. I was, one of my arms was numb, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And then in weeks later, I started having really bad migraines, and I ended up with an ulcer. And finally, the doctor said, this is psychosomatic. This is all from anxiety. And you're having, it was called panic attack, but there was another one, anxiety attacks. Yeah. They could literally have you could have physical, ailments due to anxiety and panic. It's wild because I really did not know I was having a panic attack. I just thought I was literally having a heart attack. Tony Man says, gotta head out now. I'll be listening but not commenting. Well, I'm about to close up shop anyways because I have to get ready for Hood Podcast at 7. Well, no, it's going to post later tonight. We're recording at 7, but it's going to post either at 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. And know what? I think I would like to come back tomorrow and talk about the regular 90 Day Fiance. If you guys want me to, I'd love to come back and talk about the new episode of 90 Day Fiance that just aired because I have so much to say about that. Mafalmi says, OMG, me too. Mafalmi says, I had them worse when I was a teen. Yeah, same. And I didn't know that's what I was having. Like my hands would start shaking. The back of my neck would start itching, especially when I had to take a test. I would get hives, and it would start with the back of my neck, and then the rest of my body would start itching. And it's all anxiety. Well, Fami says, I thought I was about to die from a heart attack also. Tony Man says, see you on your live tomorrow. Fomiculite says, are you also the type of person to have 20 or more pages open on your computer? I try not to because for one thing, I'm using a Chromebook and they're not super powerful. So I try not to have more than like 6 tabs open. But since you mentioned tabs, that's how I describe ADHD to people who don't have ADHD. It's literally like having 20 tabs open in your mind, but it's hard for you to keep them from switching on you. And sometimes your mind is switching tabs so fast, it kind of makes us more talkative, and try a lot of times we try to get our thoughts out before we forget them, because we're trying to get that thought out before the tab switches, and then we lost it. Carissa says yes, do it. Okay, definitely. I also like it better this way because my editing software was real, it was real glitchy, so it's hard for me to keep up on making edited content. And it's more fun to talk to people about this show. This show is just, it's not fun talking to myself about it. I want to talk to you guys about it. Please do one at 7 or talk about The Boys tomorrow. We're talking about The Boys tonight on Hood Podcast. Oh, but I will know what, I can do a separate Boys live stream on my other channel. I can do that. Get like that still when I go to the doctors now. Well, I think it's a good thing if you can find a good therapist. That helps. One thing I always tell people when they go for therapists, the first one you get may not be the best one for you. So don't give up on therapy if you get a therapist that you just don't jive with. You might have to switch 2 or 3 times before you get someone that has the right chemistry with you. That's just the way it is sometimes. So don't give up if you find a therapist that isn't right for you. Find a different one. They will give you or help you to learn tools to manage your stress and your anxiety levels. Also, stay the hell away from the news. You really don't need more than 15 minutes of news a day, just so you know the traffic, the weather, if there's anything unsafe in your environment. And then maybe once a week, watch the world news, just so that you're kept in the loop of what's going on around the world, because there's so much things happening in the world outside of America that are important. So that's a good thing to do. But the biggest thing I can say, feed your inner child. Do the things that made you happy when you were a kid. If you loved coloring, find some way to do art again. Even if you get an adult coloring book and start coloring that way. If you love to do sports, find some way that you can be active. Even if you have developed like any, like as we age, some of us, our knees are bad, our hips are bad, can't go out and do the same exact sports we used to do, but you might be able to find other sports like swimming is a good sport to take up if you have any physical ailments, that type of thing. Anything that you used to do when you were young, music, and also be careful the type of music that you listen to, because there's frequencies in music. There's certain songs that can pick you up, make you happy, and other songs that can bring you down. So be very aware of how the music you're listening to is making you feel. Those are things I do to combat anxiety. And getting good sleep, although anxiety can keep you from sleeping. It can actually make you have insomnia. So Tony Man says, but you guys aren't live. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll do The Boys again tomorrow so that we can talk live. Mafalmi says, right. And also, I'm a news junkie. I failed. Yeah, sometimes you have to back up off it, because on a subconscious level, it can cause anxiety. When I get home from work, it's sometimes Rugrats, and that's another good one. That reminded me, I'm supposed to watch Jim and the Holograms, because I heard it was on Tubi. I want to watch those cartoons again. Chris says, excellent advice. Thank you. And Fomentigolate says, my anxiety is untreated, but it's not as bad as when I was in school. Yeah. Well, even though it's untreated, like I said, there's ways that at home you can try to work on it. Like I said, the music, I sometimes say meditation, but meditation is really, really hard. The best way to get started with that is to find guided meditations on YouTube, where it's just a person talking to you in a calming voice. And if you have a good set of headphones, it can help you just to calm yourself down. It's not like true meditation, but it does help to calm yourself down. And also the best advice, I actually got this from my stepfather. And I'll tell the story before I go. I've been hospitalized twice for depression. One time was at Yale New Haven. Another time was down here in Florida at Lakeside. So like full on Girl Interrupted, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I was in there, locked in there. You get 1 hour to go out in the yard, because I was at the stage of my illness where I felt like it was better for me to end myself. And that's not a good way to think. My stepfather came to visit me in the hospital when with my mother when I was at Yale New Haven, and one of the things he told me was, at some point you have to stop giving a fuck. Stop caring what people think. Stop feeling that you're not living up to other people's expectations. Stop worrying about what others see you as. You have to stop. He used to say, "Fuck it. If they don't like you, fuck it. Stop giving a fuck." And it took me years to take that in, but it's actually true, because a lot of my anxiety was related around achievement. Was I working hard enough? Was I making enough money? Was I at a point in my life where I should be at a certain age? Which you got to throw that out the window too, because we have these imaginary milestones that we make for ourselves. But it's better to let that go, because sometimes things happen in their own time when you're more ready for them. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm not a philosophizer. I'm not, a super wise person. I can only just talk about my experience and hope sharing that helps somebody else. But let me get out of here. I had a good time. I cannot find my outro music, because I would play my outro music for this. So I'm going to have to, this stream is going to be jankier than my usual way I would like it. So let me close this out, and I'm just going to say goodbye. And thank you so much for everybody that came through. That makes me feel better, because when you do your first stream, it's nerve-wracking because you don't know if anyone's going to show up. So I'm glad some people came through for me to talk about and talk to, I should say. So people came through so I can talk to you about the show. That's the words I'm trying to say. But, mouth not working, all that. Let me go. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to talk about 90 Day Fiance, this last episode, which I think is episode 10. So I will see you tomorrow, same time, 4 o'clock for this. And then I'll do the boys at 7 o'clock on my other channel. Everyone, hope you guys have a good one. Tony Man says, Lady Shasha with a salty language. Well, I was quoting my stepfather, and that's literally the way he said it. But as I get older, the looser my mouth gets. I know that when I turn 50, oh my God, my mouth is going to be ridiculous. It runs in my family. My grandmother is in her 90s, and like all the fucks that she had left to give are gone. They're completely gone. So I know as I age, I'm heading that same way. But I try to save it for the end of the show, because I'm not that much of a potty mouth, but it was just in that type of story needed that type of emphasis. But with that, I will say goodbye until tomorrow. Take care. See you later.